Greetings, I am RSV. This video will be delving into elemental weapons and augments. It will also delve into text to a degree, and explaining why elements are or could not be important going forward. I'll start by stating how prevalent elements are in base game. Elements were changeable on our weapon in base game. It behaved mostly the same as it does in NGS. In NGS, however, the element isn't something transferable, so testing is fairly difficult. Not to mention, we do not have a fair test target to really test elemental weapons because of damage numbers. However, I found a way. So, when using Force with a Frostal weapon, you can test how Frostal interacts with ice weapons with the following setup. I somehow managed to get peak critical hit by Straga and Frostal rods equal against level 24 Bujin in the purple trigger, and I found something really interesting. Frostal, the ice elemental weapon, does enhance ice elemental attacks. On top of this, I can tell you the value of that enhancement without doing any math. 20%. The same as the elemental weakness modifier. So here is my reasoning for this. Using this build, Straga's auto attacks do not have an ice element on them, but Frostal's do. Therefore, for the weapons to have equal damage, they must have a multiplier of 20% apart. Moving to Barter, Straga gains an ice element, and should be doing about 20% more damage due to this. However, Frostal ends up having equal damage peak to Straga, therefore is enhancing the ice element further than normal. However, while testing, I discovered something strange. I decided to make the test fairer with more testing targets, so I added fire and lightning to the mix, and I found something extremely confusing. Frostal changes the element of fire and lightning PA to ice. Yes, this sounds outrageous. However, Frostal's fire PA on a Bujin should not be doing the same damage as my Straga. Additionally, lightning PA should not freeze enemies. This makes no sense. Slowly turning into Austin from Game Theory aside, upon discovering this, I had to find a new test target. As armor will create damage differences between my attacks, and there is no gigantic that is weak to fire or lightning, the best case scenario was the Bansers from yellow triggers. So I switched to force and jumped in. Now, damage is inconclusive on its own here unless I do math and figure out the Banser's armor. However, I can extrapolate a few things. For example, Frostal adds the ice element to a tech, but doesn't take away the existing element. For example, Frostal can allow for a fire tech to freeze an enemy weak to ice, and grant that tech ice damage. The tech is still a fire tech though, and doesn't lose its primary element, so we can assume that Frostal is getting a damage bonus from the fire element skill, however, isn't enhancing the fire damage. Could this explain the damage difference? Yes. Could it also be armor? Yes. I won't do the math for this, as there may be a better testing ground for this in Retum, so I will wait for now. However, I think my reasoning here is sound. However, this is just extrapolation, based on what I am seeing and not hard math. What I see is not proof of theory, it is just the basis of a theory. If someone wants to do the math, I'll put the damage numbers and all the statistics I'm aware of on screen at once for those people. Do let me know what conclusion you come to with that. As for the free exploit augments, I don't really have much to say about these, but they are both a precursor and a worrying element to the game. So, what are they a precursor of first? They are a precursor of a time that suggests that either it'll go like base game did, where we use only one element and only have one element for enemies to fight, or we have multiple element sets, and the latter thing is the thing to worry about. If NGS gets into a state that there are multiple groups of enemies that we have to kill at endgame that all are weak to a different element, and they are timed and actually difficult, we will be expected to have an element set for each of these enemies to make them go faster. Or speedrunners will be expected to have that to speedrun it as well. Now, if you are choosing to do this isn't a problem. I for one have an element set for lightning, ice, and just a normal set overall. However, it is important to remember that being forced to do this isn't necessarily a good thing. But what are my conclusions from this? Element weapons give their elements to text, and don't take away the existing element. There could be an elemental bonus for the same element on text, and if there is, it is 20%. Damage scaling due to exponential curve nature of armor's effect on damage is extreme and overly so, and makes testing difficult at times. It is interesting looking at element weapons. Their output was really hurt by them not being 4-star rarity weapons, so it is hard to say how much better they would be if they were 4-star. The only testing point we have is Flamel, and well, Gigas aren't weak to fire at the moment. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed my video. If you like my content, remember to leave a like and to consider subscribing. It really helps me out. I have been RSV, and I will see you next time.